Hey everybody, welcome back to Board Game Blender. My name is Z Garcia. Today we're going to be talking about games that are so chock full of stuff that they leave no breathing room in the box. But before we get to that, I have a nice announcement for you. You might have noticed I am wearing a brand new Board Game Blender shirt. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have a brand new shirt to offer you. You can go check these out right now. This is the official announcement for them over at geekygoodies.com. I'm going to put a link down below as well so you can go grab your own. Buy one, buy 3 of them. You can get all sorts of different colors. And it is an awesome design, as you can see, from the fantastic Andy Jewett. It's a really cool, bold look, and I adore them. So definitely go grab yourself some shirts and stay a friend of the blend. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about some games that are just so dense that it drives you crazy because an expansion might come out. And I am curious what you folks think. I want you to tell me in the comments if you had to take a game that is mostly air over one that is difficult to put back in the box because there is no extra space, what would you rather settle for? Obviously, we want that happy medium, but if you had to pick one of the two extremes, which one would you go for? Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious what people are thinking about this. But while you do that, enjoy the episode. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about some games. Here we go.
So, we are here, right, on a submarine. Yep. And we leave it on the surface while we dive in the deep sea to recover some treasures with possibly not enough air for everyone ready to die while recovering these treasures. Yeah, right. And we won't use the submarine instead because of reasons, I guess. Yep. Okay, let's go.
Hi, I'm Daniele and this is Play Cool. Today we talk about Deep Sea Adventure, a game by Sasaki for Oin Games that publishes all these little portable games. So portable indeed that the box is very small and the components that are per se very small are having a hard time anyway fitting this box. Therefore the presence in this episode of Board Game Blender. In Deep Sea Adventure you are in a submarine. You leave the submarine and go hunting for treasures in the deep sea, but you have to pay attention not using up all the air that is available to the team, because otherwise you will lose all the treasures in the depth of the seas. Probably you will lose also your lives, but that's not specified in the rules, so you will lose all the points for the round anyway. What you do during your turn, you roll the dice. These are custom dice, and you will see how deep, how many spaces you can move to a maximum of 6 spaces with these 2 custom dice. Then you land on a tile and you can either take that treasure tile to see at the end of the round how many points it was worth, or you can decide skipping that to go deeper where the tiles are more valuable. But the deeper you go, the longer your way back will be, and the air every turn or every player will be consumed for everyone, depending on how many tiles that player has. So when these 25 units of air are finished, everyone who hasn't gone back to the submarine will lose everything for that round. And at the end of the 3rd round you will sum up all the treasure tiles that you have recovered during the game, and you will see who's become victor. Let's go to the pros and cons of this game. Okay, the pros are this game is very easy and can be played everywhere with anyone. I will take it often with me in my pack when I travel because it can be played up to 6, I think. And yes, up to 6, and it's very fast. It doesn't last long, so you can always break out the game with it, and the only decisions that you have to make during the game is when do you want to come back, how far do you want to push your luck. This is a very simple push your luck game that can be played at any time. That's its strength. The second pro is its minimalistic aspect. This is common to many Oin games. I love it. The tokens by themselves look very not much, but the common minimalistic aspect of the game takes me. I like it. I feel it. I feel it's very Japanese, and I like the look of it. For the cons, this game is very simple. I mean, really. You can play it just with anyone, but not every gamer will be happy to play it. The good thing is it's very fast, so you can just pass some time like this without annoying anyone, even if it's someone waiting for a deeper game to start. But it is almost too light even for me. I'm not for big heavy games, but this is almost too light. And the second con, well, it comes from this episode. I understand you want to do a small box, but not everything fits in the box unless you really cram it in. It's really hard to use this box and keep everything organized. But yeah, you cannot have everything, right? Well, that was it. I think if you find if you find it, it's a good buy, because it's inexpensive and it is portable and can be fun for everyone, but just for a while. See you next time.
Hi everyone! There's an epidemic running across our country. In the last couple of years, it has only been getting worse. Boxes were stretched to their limits by the glutinous monster called stretch goals. And as a doctor, I say, no more stretch marks on my games. The BMI box mass index has to go down. I'm looking at you, Ines and Max vs Minions. Because how sad is it that they have to be excluded from their bodies? They are being punished by the greed of their designers. Full, fuller, fullest seems to be the motto, and that is why I am sending them to my Successfully Leaner in Minutes workout. Just follow these 4 easy steps and your games will be able to close again in no time. 1. Throw away the insert. Inserts are useless extra space and we don't want that. So say nay to inserts. Step number 2. Use baggies to replace the inserts. This way your game will be neat and organized without them bulging over. Step number 3. Get the air out of your baggies, because air is evil and will make your games look bloated in no time, and nobody wants that. To do this, use my patented Dr. Anna Airway. This way you will lose the excess air in no time. And finally, step 4. Miniatures are the easiest way to get your games look fat, and they're not even necessary. Just replace them with chits. Your games will be looking healthy in no time. By following these 4 easy steps, your board game will look beach ready in no time. And don't you think your board game deserves the best? Give it to them by giving them Slim Workout, the best workout your board game has ever had. This video was brought to you by Dr. Anna Airway, the best way to get rid of excess air in board games.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Tommy.
And we're Been Talking Games.
This week on Blender, we're looking at games that barely fit back in the box. Today, on Beat, Meet, or Obsolete, we're talking about Massive Darkness.
Massive Darkness is a game for 1 to 6 dungeon crawlers. Plays in roughly 90 minutes to maybe 3 hours tops. And it is a dungeon crawl game. You are a group of adventurers going into these dungeons, fighting bad guys right and left. You've got an assortment of monsters, as well as different mobs that you're going to be attacking. The combat is resolved through dice throwing. You have different dice for the attacker and the defender. These dice allow you to enable special abilities that you'll be acquiring and activating special items that you will also be picking up as you go through this dungeon. The game is fairly accessible with minimal rules, but a real fun time throwing dice and fighting bad guys.
So, what did you think about the game?
Other than the fact that I can barely get it back in the box, it's a great game. I enjoy it.
It's a massive box.
It's a massive box with a lot of stuff that comes in it.
It's dark. After you put the lid on, it's dark inside.
It's a box of massive darkness.
It is indeed. It's not empty darkness, though, so
yes.
That's good. I like the game. Do you like the game?
No, I do like it. I'll be honest up front. I kickstarted the game. So I'm a little biased. I wanted it to be good.
Hope it's good.
I hope it's good. And I feel like I got a good game. I know a lot of the stuff out there right now, if you go read the BGG comments and stuff regarding the game, a lot of reviews, it's getting a little bit of hate. People are claiming that it's too simple, that it doesn't have the decision making that they want, and that kind of worried me because I got my copy kind of late in the shipping phase. So I was scared, but I'm happy with my product. Happy with what I got. Yeah.
So, where do you rank it with your expectations?
It met them. I figured this was going to be a fairly simple, fun dice chucking dungeon crawler, and that's what it is.
We got to meet.
We got to meet.
Okay.
That's you.
Well, I knew almost nothing about this going into it, other than it was very similar to Zombicide.
Yeah. Same designer.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a crossover there.
And I played Zombicide after I had heard about Massive Darkness. Really enjoyed Zombicide. Afterwards, I was really looking forward to this. And there was a lot of anticipation for it, a lot of hype buildup, and it came. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah?
This far exceeded my expectations.
Wow.
I really enjoyed the game. I wouldn't mind having this game in tandem with you. Like, if you had the game, if you decided to keep it for a really long time,
you would also consider
I wouldn't mind having it. It's a game I could probably play with my wife. She enjoys Zombicide.
For sure.
But I think that this one gives a little bit more flavor. I love the Diablo feeling. It feels like Diablo. You kill a monster, it drops an item, you pick it up, you can use it. It's so cool. I love it. It's great. The leveling up aspect with the items.
For sure. It's so fun. It's almost an RPG board game.
Yeah.
You get to play and be a character that you want
and you
to
can
play
mix it up. Like, you can have a barbarian that does, like, magic. Like, it's so...
Yeah, no, you're not pinholed into one thing. You have a lot of choices.
Exactly. So,
disclaimer, he doesn't like co-op games.
Hate co-ops.
So I was shocked that he liked this. I was really worried. So that means a lot coming from him that he had this as a beat.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Exactly.
So you have a meet and a beat from us. If you're interested in checking it out, it's Massive Darkness. It should be hitting retail real soon, if not already be out. So thanks for watching.
Yeah. If you like what you saw, go on over to our channel at Ben Talking Games, where we talk a little bit more about this game in particular. And go ahead and join us there. Thanks for watching.
Yep. See ya.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie.
And I'm Shelby.
And we are Sugar High Score. So for this episode, we have chosen one of our very favorite games, Arcadia Quest.
With so many expansions and promos, we can never get this game to fit back inside the box.
But do not worry, because we have a solution to our problem. We're going to take all the extra pieces that don't fit back into the box and we're going to put them on a cake.
It's going to be epic, and if you stick around until the end, there will be a never-before-seen interview with one of the designers, Mr. Eric Lang.
Well, we have a lot of baking to get to, so let's get into the kitchen.
We're starting by layering our chocolate cakes that we already baked. If you would like links to these recipes, you can find them on our website at sugarhighscore.com.
We're filling our cakes with a layer of raspberry buttercream, and then a layer of chocolate ganache, and then one more layer of raspberry buttercream. We repeated the same process with our larger 12-inch cake, and then we covered them entirely with more buttercream frosting.
We don't have enough time in this segment to show you the making of all the decorations on this cake, so we picked one of our favorites, the quest cards.
We began by making a copy of one of the cards, and we used it as a template. We rolled out a thin piece of gum paste and traced around it with an X-Acto knife.
We cut out each detail of the card separately using the same template. And then we glued all the pieces together with water.
To make it look more like the card, we brushed it with food coloring dust in the center of the card and around the edges.
Next, we hand-painted the letters with food coloring gels mixed with lemon extract.
And then we added a few more details like the tombstones and coins. Voila!
Now I'm covering the cake in fondant. To make the corners super sharp, I cut out panels of fondant and then cut them down to size using my ruler and X-Acto knife.
All tiered cakes need support, so here I'm inserting milkshake straws that I already cut into the perfect size.
It's always scary to stack cakes on top of each other, no matter how many times I've done it.
Hooray! Time to assemble the cake. The squares that we are placing on the cake represent the game tiles. We're just making up our own scenario here.
And now we're attaching our quest cards, door tiles, and the Arcadia Quest logo to the cake with melted chocolate. People always ask me how long these cakes take to make. Well, this one took us about 4 days.
Our cake wouldn't be complete without a mini Eric Lang, heroes, monsters, and a frost dragon for the top.
All finished.
Yay! The grand finale, my interview with one of the designers, Eric Lang.
Hi, Mr. Lang. We are big fans of some of the games you have made, including Arcadia Quest. Can we ask you some questions? Sure, but make it quick. I have to feed my panda. Speaking of feeding, what's your favorite type of cake? I love cake. Cake is so yummy. I like big cakes, little cakes, and even cupcakes. Well, that's not really a flavor, but let's move on. Out of all the games you've helped make, which one is your favorite? I've thought long and hard about this one, as it's a tough decision, but it's definitely the one that comes in a box. Yep, definitely that one. But don't they all come in a box? Oops, sorry. Gotta go. My panda's calling.
Thank you for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed it.
And as always, if you have any ideas or suggestions for us, please tell us down in the comments below or on our own Twitter or Instagram pages.
See you next time. Bye.
Do you want to play test it or?
I think we should eat the cake now.
Ooh. Do you like it?
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
For today's Quirky Game, I'm going to be talking about Factory Funner. Now, you might have heard me talk about this game before, or Factory Fun, the first one. This is a follow-up to that game, and this one is a puzzle lover's dream. It is a game in which you are going to be drafting some tiles and then using those, which represent pieces of a factory floor, to lay out and manufacture this strange contraption and use that to generate what's going on and make you victory points, basically. It's about connecting things correctly. It almost has a little bit of a puzzle app feel to it, right? It's a very clever game. Now, the thing about this one is my version of Factory Fun, the first release, is not the original printing of the game, which is also from Koali, this company here. It is from Z-Man Games, and it was a much bigger box. And they changed some of the components and so on. That one fits back in the box just fine. I love it. It's one of my favorite games, one of my favorite productions. Koali always uses this size box here, as you can see. In fact, here I have another one of their games that happens to be one of Tom's copies, Basket Boss, and I also have Power Boats at home, also one of my favorite racing games. So they always use that size. Unfortunately, there's a lot packed in this one, and I'll show you how it barely fits back in. In fact, this one commits one of those sins in gaming boxes that I really despise, and that is that you have to spread things out across the top to make it all fit back in, right? You have to put it all back as best as you can, and then that leftover component, in this case, the different tiles that represent the parts of the machinery, well, you gotta take them and play that confetti game, you know, where you do this thing and then you spread them around like you're, trying to make it look all even, and then the manual can go on top of that, and then this goes on top, and it's fine, you know, it doesn't even float on there if you do it right. Now, you gotta be careful. You get, one or two tiles wrong, then you've got that bulge in the middle where you can, squeeze the sides of the box and see it springing up in the center. But I hate that system of putting this away, Is it problematic enough to upset me to the point of not wanting to pull this game out? No, not even close, right? But it is a tight fit, and this game is dense. There's a lot of cardboard in here. In fact, I'm gonna just take it all out and show you how much is in here. So you've got all of these tiles. These are all of the factory pieces, which you're going to be in a bit of a real-time aspect at the beginning of each round. You'll lay some out, and you'll grab one quickly, the one you think fits into your factory. Now, when I say quickly, you don't want to be too quick. If you make a mistake, that hurts you more than simply looking and taking your time. And if, yeah, maybe one or two go away, but you'll be more careful and probably come out on top. So it's about a balance between tactics and speed. So you've got all of these. Then we've got some little tiddlywinks here to mark some things. We've got a bag of these. These are going to be the connections between the tiles. Some more reservoirs. We've got these, which are the pools of different colored goo that gets pushed through the factory. We've got some player tokens, scoreboard there, and then a whole bunch of cardboard at the bottom. Look at that. That's it. It's a pretty shallow box, right? And so these would fold open, and those are the factory floors on which you build all of these goodies. This box is filled to the brim with stuff, and I really enjoy this game. It's absolutely one of my favorite puzzly, bizarre, quirky games. It's definitely not for everyone, but boy is it packed. And if they ever come up with an expansion for this, I am definitely in trouble. I'm gonna have to keep it in its own box, which I do not like to do. I like to combine expansions and base games into one of those boxes. Doesn't matter which one, but a single box, just in case I gotta grab it and go. I wanna grab a single box per game, right? That's how my mind thinks. So there you go. That's everything inside Factory Funner. Really cool puzzly game. If you haven't played it, if you haven't had a chance to try it out, play this one or play Factory Fun. Go check out a video on either one. I think if it's captivating to you, the idea of managing this tricky puzzle, connecting everything just the right way, I think you're gonna dig it. So go check it out. That is it for me on this one. I'll see you next time.
Islam come. Let's see. He managed to do what the King of Norway. Hello? Hey man, what you up to? Oh, nothing much. Getting lost in the woods. You wanna come over? I'm making a feast. Oh, really? A feast of Odin. What does this mean? Come on, feast. Be over. Come on, feast. Hey there everybody, welcome to the life of a board gamer. And today we are going to talk about a game that is full of components, literally. And that game is a feast for Odin. As you can see, the game comes almost full to the top with components. And let me show you what you get in there. First of all, this game comes with a bunch of cardboard pieces, big cardboard pieces, and those are, for example, as you can see here, first of all we have the track of the rounds. Each round you will go through all 12 steps of these actions, so to say. Then we have this board where you can buy some artifacts or craft them if you are crafty. And then each player will get one player board that is two-sided. One is short game 6 round and long game 7 round. Really, there's no difference, 6 and 7 rounds, it's all the same. And then there is the, let's say, main board, and this is the board where you have like 60 or some actions that you can do with your meeples that you will send over here. You would think that's all from the cardboard, but there is a bit more of smaller cardboards. And for example, here are the mountains that you will strip for goods, like you will go and get woods and stone and whatnot. So there's like a bunch of these. And Then there is these two that make some difference in a game sometimes. Then you can build some different houses if you like housing in games. Basically, in a Feast for Odin, you don't prepare Feast for Odin, you prepare a feast for your workers. And Odin, I don't know why it's for Odin, maybe, I don't know. Then here you buy ships, and of course there's always 4 double-sided islands that you can settle and play the game on them, so to get some extra points. All this cardboard is very complemented with the wooden pieces, and I must say that these boxes don't come in the game. These are something I use. So you get wooden components of wood, of stone, and of coal, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's some dice in here, some moose as a first player token, and you will get a bunch of money tokens because money is almost everything in this game. And then what we have are player tokens. Of course, as in every game, you get these cute little meeples that are uniquely shaped, and you get them in 4 different colors, so you know which one is yours, and you can send them on those different islands and collect different stuff and practically play Tetris on your main board. And of course, all that is also complemented with some small tokens. Then there are these ships that you will go on a whaling or maybe go hunt for artifacts and I don't know, a bunch of different stuff. And there's also these artifacts that I show you that board. This artifact will definitely help you win the game. And if you are particularly bad in this game, for example, you will get these -3 point tokens. And also in this game, what comes are the cards. There are 4 sets of cards. These ones are used in every game. These are weapons. These will be used to hunt whales or hunt animals for their skin and stuff like that, or for a meat, so you can prepare a feast for Odin, even though Odin never shows. You only eat yourself. And there are also these roll cards, and those come in A, B, and C. And those are what you will decide to play on. You can mash everything up, or you can just play deck A, deck B, or deck C. And you are probably thinking, we are done. That's the game, that's it. But wait, there's more. Of course, as in each game that is deep full with components, you will get a ton of little cardboard tiles that you will play on your board, and these are played like in somewhat Tetris style. You have to match them all together and put them on board, and whoever is best in that will probably win the game. And of course, there are rulebooks in this game, and really you don't have to read these because these are German and I don't speak German, so I don't understand what they're saying. But as always, you can print out English rules. Until next time. Pozdrav.
Hey guys, Tiff here, and today we're talking about games that barely fit inside their boxes. As someone with a large collection, I usually prefer games that come in the smallest possible box. But after going through my collection, shaking up all of the boxes, I came to find that most of my games have more than ample space for the components. There was one game that had absolutely no wiggle room, and that was my newly acquired copy of The Climbers. The Climbers is a stacking game by Holger Lantz, published by Capstone Games in their Simply Complex line of games. It's a 2 to 5 player abstract race to the top of a tower of blocks that's delightfully light on rules. To set up, each player gets a climber and a blocking marker in their color and 2 different sized ladders. Then together the players build up a structure of colored blocks that serves as the board. On your turn you have several actions, one of which is to move a block. To do this, you can either keep the block in the same position and rotate the facing to a different color, or keep the same facing and move the block to a completely different location. You can also move your climber, although that may not always be possible because your climber can only move onto blocks that match your color or are the neutral gray color. You can move as many spaces as possible as long as the blocks are orthogonally adjacent and no more than 1 height level above you. Ladders can be used to go higher, but they can only be used 1 time each during the game. After your movement, you can choose to place your blocking marker, which holds a block in its current position and prevents other players from crossing it until your next turn. Once your turn is over, each player gets a chance to make bonus moves if they can, and then the next player takes his or her turn. If no one can move upward for an entire round, the game ends and the highest climber wins. I have a feeling I'm going to love this Simply Complex line of games for Board Game Club. The Climber's easy-to-teach rules are exactly what I need when I have several groups going at once. The gameplay is clever, and I find the kids spending a good amount of time studying the Tower of Blocks, trying to optimize their turns. The puzzly nature of the game can cause it to take a while, depending on the group, but it's generally fast and fun. Even putting the blocks back together in the box at the end of the game is a little puzzle because of the tight fit. This can be annoying if you're in a hurry to pack up, but you wouldn't want the box to be too much bigger because the chunky components would be rattling around in there. If you're looking for an interesting puzzle game where the players create a different board each time they play, I would recommend The Climbers. Check it out, and I'll see you back next time.
Hello, my name's Dan, and this is my board gaming time capsule. Now then, no one really knows what's going to happen in the future. But what we do know is that this time capsule is going to be an incredibly valuable and important resource for guidance and wisdom. Now, I'm not saying I'm a genius or the saviour of humanity or anything. I mean, that's for other people to say. But I think we can all agree that my strategic and quite frankly inspired choices of what games I've put in here mean that the people of the future are going to be able to learn from them and make the world a much better place. There's only one problem. The time capsule's now full. Not only does this mean I'm no longer able to pass down advice and guidance to the future, but more importantly, if I can't put any games in my time capsule anymore, then I lose my segment on Board Game Blender. I mean, how am I going to prop up my shallow and fragile self-worth if I'm not able to obsess over positive YouTube comments anymore? Oh sure, I've still got the Dan and Cora segment over on Board Game Breakfast, but that hacked Cora takes all the attention in that show. There's nothing else for it. I'm going to have to think of a different segment to put on Board Game Blender. Maybe I should start writing and performing songs.
Hey Dan, you want to sing? Oh great! Help me out here. Come on. No, you're not allowed to sing. That's what I do.
Oh. Okay then. It's probably a bit too much work anyway. Maybe I should just do a segment where I steal all my topics from Reddit.
Dan, that's my thing. Back off.
Oh, all right then. It looks like there's nothing else for it. I'm just going to have to do a rubbish segment where I ramble on and on senselessly, with no purpose or forethought, and just risk getting loads and loads of negative comments from people who can't see the point in my very existence.
No, you don't. That's what I do. It's my whole shtick.
It looks like I'm stuck with the board gaming time capsule idea. So there's only one thing for it. I'm going to have to empty this out and start again. Now then, no one really knows what's going to happen in the future. But what we do know is that the world's going to become a very overcrowded place. And so we need to teach people how to deal with that by putting this game, Crazy Coconuts, into our board gaming time capsule. For some reason. Crazy Coconuts is an extremely enjoyable dexterity game for 2 to 4 players. However, the reason I've got so much trouble trying to fit this game back in the box is that I have expanded my version to be up to 6 players. In this game, you're going to be using chunky plastic monkeys to try and fling coconuts into various cups placed on the table. Or at least the manufacturers claim that they're coconuts. There are various theories that say otherwise. Whenever you get a coconut into a cup, you claim it is yours and place it in front of your monkey to make a pyramid. The person who's first to claim 6 cups is the winner. This is probably my #1 dexterity game of all time. It's got that perfect combination of silliness and skill that makes it a timeless classic in my opinion. Particularly inspired are the rules that allow you to steal the cups that other people have collected. In the right group, this can lead to gales of laughter and many, many oaths of vengeance. Crazy Coconuts is a fantastic game that works just as well with adults as it does with kids. And it's one I really can't recommend enough. So, all that's left to do is to put coconuts into our board gaming time capsule. However, before I do that, I'd just like to tell you that I've just started a new podcast, This Game is Broken, which is a comedy panel show featuring the brothers Murph, Dave Luza, myself and, unfortunately, Matthew Jude. I'd really appreciate it if you could check us out. You can find us by typing This Game is Broken into the search bar of wherever you normally get your podcasts from. Okay, let's get on with this. It's full again now.
Alright, for today's game Under the Radar, I am taking a look at Dale of Merchants here, a card game, a deck building game, which does a lot of interesting things with deck building. It sort of, to me, feels like deck building 2.0. We know what deck building is, we know how it can be utilized, let's now streamline it, let's simplify, let's use it to help tell a story, not to be the whole story itself. And I think this game does that with little things like when you buy a card, it goes in your hand. I like that. I hate that feeling of, look at this awesome card, I'll see you in a few shuffles, you know. And things like using cards towards different things. You can use the card for the power, but you can use it for currency. You can use it to become a good, which you are trying to do. You're trying to build up your market stalls and win that way. The game is a race. It's designed to feel like a race, so there is no scoring either. When someone hits the threshold which wins them the game, they win the game. I love that in games. You know, it's a simple way to play and explain what's going on, and there is none of that denouement at the end, right? Where everyone sits there and then counts points and figures out what happened. And that's a nice change of pace from most games. However, of course, it makes it onto this episode of Blender because you get your rule book right there. We've got a little board it comes with, like so, and then a bit of an insert, not much of an insert, and then cards. A lot of cards, there's even a die squeezed in there. But first of all, if you consider anything like this being sleeved, if you're someone who enjoys sleeving your card games, good luck to you. Say goodbye to this box, this very nicely illustrated box, because it simply won't fit back in here. The other thing is, the game had an expansion on Kickstarter, Dale of Merchants 2, unsurprisingly enough. Exact same box, exact same problem, unfortunately. It is chock full of goodies. Now, you don't need both boards, technically. If you own both games, you won't need both boards. They have different artwork, but you don't need them. But this one also is full up, has a die as well in it. So you can't even combine these two boxes into one box. And on top of that, this would be fine if there were no expansions or, you know, promos or things like that. But the game does have a promo I really like. And that is this right here. It's a brand new creature for you to use in your game. You see, you don't use every card in every game. You pick as many creatures as are necessary based on the number of players. And they give you a brand new one here. Beavers, cool. But this won't fit back in the box. There's no way. You know, never mind, again, the sleeving issue. If I put this here, if I spread it among the two, I can do it now without putting the board back in here, but then I'm getting rid of the board, right? which again, you don't technically need, but I hate having to give something up in the game because it does feel incomplete at that point, right? So I love this, but boy, this box is very, very tiny, and I do wish that the expansion box, well, the sequel, right? It's not really an expansion, but they can be combined. I wish that box would have been twice as deep, and I could have kept it all in the same box. As it is, the game is really a fantastic design. It is fresh, it feels original and new, and it brings something really clever and captivating to the table. And the artwork is very, very nice. So here are my, oh, it floats on there. There it is, Dale of Merchants. Really a neat game. I enjoyed very much. I think it should get a lot more love, so definitely look into it. Dale of Merchants. If you enjoyed deck building at all, but you feel like they're becoming a little samey, Dale of Merchants might be the one to look into. Check it out, and I'll see you next time.
There's something very important to you. You have a quest to fulfill, a personal quest. And to fulfill that quest, you must go on an adventure. Along with 3 other mercenaries who have their own reasons for joining the group, you'll fight monsters in the city, the forest, in dungeons. Actually, you'll fight monsters wherever you encounter them. Until you've fulfilled that which you desire the most. Then it's time for you to retire. There's no use in risking your life anymore. And there will probably be someone else who will gladly take your place. Hello everybody, my name is Robert and I'm the Co-op Gamer. And today I want to talk to you about Gloomhaven. I chose this game because there's a lot of stuff in the box. Let me show you how we've organized everything. So this is what you find when you open our copy of Gloomhaven. First of all, the sticker sheets, the rule book, and the scenario book, the game board, which I won't show you because that might provide spoilers. All those map tiles, and there are a lot of them, and it's always a hassle to put them back into the box. The elements track, an envelope A, which we haven't opened yet, the town records, which we have opened, envelope B, we have opened that as well, some more map tiles, of course a permanent marker, and in this box we keep our cards that have to be removed from the game, because you never know. And then all of these envelopes, which contain the character sheets and their ability cards. We keep these foam pieces inside to protect everything that's underneath. And then we have all the character miniatures here, and all the cards over here, the element tokens, the standees, and the monster cards over here. And people that are familiar with the game might notice that there are some things missing, and that's because we keep things like the monster standees separate from the rest of the game, as well as the overlay tiles and all the special tiles, as well as damage counters, coins, because it won't fit in the base box. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff inside this box. I still don't know if this is a really good game or if it's just an addiction. Or maybe it is a really good game because it's an addiction. Just at the point the game would get repetitive or maybe even boring, you'll unlock new abilities, new items, or maybe even new characters. And that's what makes me want to play the game as much as possible. I want to know what's inside all of these sealed envelopes. The best way to play this game is with a dedicated gaming group. But be aware, this game can be so addictive that you will neglect other games. At least, that's what happened to our gaming group. We've spent a lot of time playing Gloomhaven, and we aren't even halfway through the campaign. But we have a lot of fun playing it. And that's it for me. I hope to see you next time, and continue to cooperate.
friends of the Blend, and welcome back to Retro Board Game Corner. Today we're talking about games that barely fit inside the box. Well, what about a game that the box is too big for the game itself? Well, I got a game for you here. It's 13 Dead End Drive, published in 1993 by Milton Bradley. Now, this game is way too big for the box, so let me show you. For starters, the game board could have been quad folded, because as you can see, look at how much wasted space there is here. So, setting it up is a whole nother story. Let me set this up and show you how it works. At the beginning of the game, depending on how many players there are, you will deal an amount of cards, character cards, to each player. So for example, I have this hand of cards. I am trying to get these people out of the house if my portrait is showing here on the portrait board here. So to start the game, we'll take Aunt Agatha off the board. So the first person that's showing is the tennis coach. On every turn, you'll roll 2 dice. And then use 1 dice to move 1 pawn and use the other dice to move the other pawn, unless you rolled doubles. If you roll doubles, you can move 1 pawn that combined amount. Now you can move anybody's pawn, you don't actually have to own the pawn. Also, when you roll doubles, you can go ahead and change the portrait to the next picture. Just make sure you put that in the back. So now the chef is showing. So there are 5 kill zones in the game, designated by the skulls around the board. So if you move by exact count on one of the skull spaces, you get to draw a card. Now if the card matches the space that you're on, you can play the card to activate the trap. If it doesn't, you just keep it for future use. Also in the deck is the detective card. Every time you draw a detective card, the detective moves 1 space closer to the game over spot. So you want to try to eliminate the other players and keep your players safe. So when they're on the space there with the skull, you will play the appropriate trap card and then spring the trap. That pawn is now out of the game. The bookcase. The chandelier, the fireplace, the stairs. In 2002, they did reprint this game and renamed it 1313 Dead End Drive with some streamlined rules and hey, half the box size. Well, that's all the time I have for now. May your rolls be high.
Hi everyone. Oh, game boxes. There is so much to say about the game boxes. I hate, of course, the Machi Koro type of games where you have a big box but just a small deck of cards that come with it. And you've got on the other side Mechs vs. Minions, which is so full and everything has its own place. Oh, I love that, and I'm very happy there's no expansion. Please never make an expansion because I love it just the way it is. But that's not how it works. Games will get expansions and will get bigger and grow out of their boxes. Normally I throw away all my expansion boxes. Let me give you an example of how I store my games. Oh, but first let me tell you about Looping Chewy, which was a great game and a great addition to our household because my son loves Looping Louie, but we are a 3-person household, so Looping Chewy was great, but it came in a box that was this flimsy, thin, box that if you put something on it, it would just dent and everything would fall out of the cupboard. And if you do it the other way around, if you put smaller games under it, it would be too big and then everything would fall out as well. So I got so mad and I threw the box out, which was stupid because now I don't have anything to store it with. And the result is that now one of the tokens fell behind a cupboard where there's a lot of, I don't want to go in there. Let me show you how I store some of my games, just to give you an idea. I like my games ready to go. So my Catan collection is all in this very nice wooden thingy that you can take with you as well, and everything's ready to go in no time. Same thing goes for Agricola, but it comes in two parts. I've got the base game here, and I've got all the tokens in this separate tray, which I love if it all has a place. It's stupid that it doesn't fit. My Near and Far expansion's got the same problem. I have all the tokens in a different tray, but once I want to put it all back into the box, it just doesn't fit, and it looks like this, which I hate. Same thing goes for Terraforming Mars and its new player board. I've got everything nice and cool, but if you want to have the extra board, it just doesn't fit. This is my complete pitch car collection. It all fits very snug and very nice in this bin, and I love that. And, well, an example of how you should do things. Expansions and everything fits very well in this very nice and very beautiful game, Tokaido. And this is how you do it, people. Thanks for watching.
Hey folks, welcome to Thinking Inside the Box. I'm Mark. This episode, we're doing something very different. We're going to take a look at what I consider to be my ultimate gaming accessory. It is our new table from Game Toppers. Now the cool thing about Game Toppers is that it really is a portable gaming table. The table comes apart into two pieces, and there's even a bag that you're going to be able to put these game tables into and store for use later. And really the idea behind it is that you're going to have a table to put on your dining room table for game night. So you don't have to have a dedicated table or a dedicated room or anything of that nature. But for me, I went a little different tact for our table. I actually went down a route to make it a permanent solution in our game studio. So let's take a closer look. So over the last month, we've been doing tons and tons of updates to our studio. Everything from new lights to new microphones, put up at this new wall. I'm very excited, and really the Game Toppers table just topped off the set to make it look even better. And obviously for gaming, this has just been a fantastic table for gaming. So what I did is that, unlike a lot of other people who are using it as that portable solution and putting on different folding tables, which it works well for, I actually sought after a table, an older table, which I got from Habitat for Humanity. I got the dimensions, and I really was specific about what I was looking for. So I needed one that fit the Watson. What they're calling this version of my table is the Watson. The gaming area is 38 by 60, the play area. So I had to find a table that I didn't want it to hang way over or be a little short. So I searched and searched, went to a lot of places, looked at garage sales. Anyway, found a really perfect table. It just fit. I mean, it just fits like a glove. And the other thing I did for our studio is that I put movers underneath the table because I have to configure the room a lot. So for like 6-player games, we turn the table, and for 4 players, we have a different configuration. And then if I'm filming and I want the whole length of the room, I just slide the table out of the way, and it just makes setup and takedown so much easier. Now you might be wondering about the playing surface. So these mats, they have so many different mats that they're going to be doing, and hopefully more in the future. But yeah, there's like this big cool adventure map and there's a space scene and so forth. What's really nice about that too is that then every gaming night can be customized to what you are playing. So Kevin from Game Toppers has really thought this through. Really fantastic design, and I'm just super honored to have this be part of our show. So you guys really need to check it out. I think you're gonna find these tables not only configurable and really well done, but just in general, a more affordable solution. The table does come apart in 2 sections, and for easy storage. And on the back of the back of the table, the bottom of the table, the Game Topper, you'll see that there's these rubberized strips, and that really does keep these tables in place. It really doesn't move. I mean, I've tried. Unless you bump it really, really hard, it'll maybe edge off just a tiny bit, but it really keeps the table in place. And it's not like overly heavy. It's very easy to manipulate, getting it onto the table and setting it up. So that is fantastic. But again, for me, I really set this up to be just to set up all the time. So, and some of the really nice accessories for it are these trays. And the trays you can use to put components on. You flip it over, it has a writing service, and they convert into cup holders for drinks. And they all use this rail system that slides along the edge of the table, which means that it's configurable for every game night that you do. Really well done. So that whole just thought process into thinking ahead and allowing people to customize their table literally for every game night is just really well done. And of course, the rails, or not rails, but the edge of the tables here, they have slots for your cards. So you can have cards off to the side, try to keep them hidden. They do have player shields that you can get as other accessories that can block, so you could actually play with all your cards in front of you here, which really, really is neat. So yeah, there's so many options for this table. Now you might be wondering about games. Yes, so I have played Star Trek Ascendancy on this table. I've played Sword and Sorcery, where everything, all the components just consume the table. And obviously the nice thing about having a dedicated studio is that I can just leave games set up and come back to them, especially for filming. But this table has just made all that so much easier to work with. And huge games fit. I know I haven't tried like TI4 yet, or something of that nature, but things like Xia and other big box type games, Mansions of Madness, all fit really well on this Watson version. Also, Game Toppers has partnered with Daedalus Productions and Dogmite to make even cooler accessories for this table. Things like really intricate component trays, really neat dice towers that attach to the side, player shields, and so forth. So just look for this table to have more and more expansions to it in the future. So definitely check out the website, because there's all kinds of different table sizes and configurations as well. And make sure you check out their other videos. There's videos from Chaz Marler and from Jamie from The Secret Ball. They did some really nice videos showing just how portable and how many ways to set this table up. So make sure you check those out as well. All right, folks, until next time, we'll see you at the table.
All right, everybody, that's going to do it for us on this episode. A big thanks to all of you for tuning in. Big thanks to my contributors, and a special thank you this time to Chris from geekygoodies.com and to Andy Jewett for this awesome logo. And as I always say, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. And hey, stay a friend of the blend. I'll see you next time.